welcome to Stoughton Politics with this guy, the show where you learn about Stoughton politics because I'm learning about Stoughton politics and you get to watch me do it. And I am here interviewing Debra Roberts, a select board member and vice chair.
Yes.
Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, I'm excited to be here, Noah. This is a good time because we're right in a fiscal cliff.
Yeah.
The perfect storm with finances. And I would love to talk a little bit about that. Not too much. I'll save that for another show. But the topic for the day is affordability.
Okay.
But first...
Yeah, I mean, I did want to do a little bit of introductions, like how long have you been involved in Stoughton politics? What got you into it? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, that's kind of ironic that you would ask it in that way because I don't see myself as a politician.
Interesting.
I see myself as a public servant, a servant of the people of the town of Stoughton. I've lived in Stoughton for about 40 years. I have kids that gone through the Stoughton public school system. And so it's, I am dedicated to the mission of Stoughton. I have some of the commissions, boards, and committees I've served on was the Board of Assessor, the Finance Committee, the Cultural Council Committee, Cedar Hill Committee, just a wide mix of committees, boards, and commissions. And in my heart of hearts, I see myself as a finance person, a fiscal responsible person, and a humanitarian. Now, for my education, I have a master's degree, an MBA, and with a concentration in finance and other graduate certificates from Northeastern University. So I'm always looking for that one thing. And what is that one thing? It's affordability. That's the key word for the day.
Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't know that you had a background in finance.
Oh, okay.
So that, you learn something new every day because you see people, on a board and they're discussing stuff, but you don't know if they learned that on the fly because they, were interested in fishing regulations or something.
Right.
and then ended up accidentally on finance committee and learned a bunch of stuff or what. So that's cool. So did you work in finance for some time?
Yes. So basically all of my career, I am a finance and operations professional, and I see how they are tied. If you don't understand the operations side, then you're not going to be able to tell the story or understand or relate to everyone regarding the finances, because finances tell a story, but you want the finances to tell the right story, the accurate story, the factual story.
Yeah, for sure.
But can I say something before we get started? I have the census. And I wanted to share this is the 2020 census, and this is the population of Stoughton, basically the demographics of Stoughton. So according to this, over 29,000 population in the town of Stoughton. The median age is 43.4 years. 60.35% are white, about 18.38 are Black or African American. And then it goes on, the average household income is $132,359. And it goes on, and the education, going down to other characteristics, education, 40.99% have a bachelor's degree. Now,
me. I just have a bachelor's. Okay, go ahead.
Now, why is this important for me to share at the beginning of the interview? And that's because the select board is the only board in the town of Stoughton that has the responsibility of overseeing all of Stoughton, the total population, from race, from religion, from age, from birth to and beyond.
Yeah.
And that is a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely.
And you really have to have a passion for it, and I do.
Yeah, and you need to know who you're serving.
Yes,
right?
you do.
You need to know that the per capita income. It's actually interesting looking at these numbers that the per capita income is almost exactly half of the average household income, which implies that we have a lot of two-income households.
Right.
We have a lot, or as many high earners or three-income households, more or less, as we have workers. So it's very, or as we have single people who are
Right.
who are their own household, right? But our poverty rate is fairly high. This says it's 9.23.
Yes.
So it's when we talk about affordability and housing and other things along those lines, we need to keep in mind that we are not a wealthy town.
Right.
We're, I think our household income is somewhere near the state average. I think that I forgot to look up, but the poverty rate is fairly high. So if our town becomes less affordable, we do potentially risk driving our own neighbors into homelessness.
That's right. And I'll tell you that a lot of the residents, they want to express to us, it's not always on TV, but they catch us on the street at the grocery store just to share their experiences. And we have the senior population that says to us, Debra, I can't afford to live in Stoughton because of the taxes, but I can't afford to leave either. Well, because the surrounding towns are more expensive than Stoughton.
Yeah.
I have a resident, I'll just use one example as a concrete example. She's a beautician, and she's in her 50s, and she lives with her parents. And she says, Debra, when my parents die, I'm afraid I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose the house because I can't afford to pay the taxes. Now, being a beautician is a reputable career and profession, but these problems and fears that they are expressing are real. They are real to them. They're real to us. They're real to me.
Absolutely.
And I would like to continue to solve the problem by talking to others that are well-versed in the area, using my finance skills to bring to the table to analyze. While on this select board and being in the town of Stoughton, I met some of the most brilliant people, such as yourself, such as Chair Cavey, such as our town manager, Tom Coulter, Peter Vescresco, Carolyn Walsh, some brilliant minds, a think tank to help express what is going on, what they're seeing from different perspectives. Yeah. And the point is, I take time to listen, problem solve. Now, I might not be able to solve the problem it is, but I know one thing is true. You check and double check.
Yeah.
The information that you're seeing, that's a number on a page, and that page would be any of those financial reports, the profit and loss statement, the balance sheet, the cash flow statement. Check and check again.
Absolutely. And we have a, since we're right on the edge of voting for several things, because we've got a special town meeting coming up next week, I believe. So there was discussion about trying to buy the property that is next door to the town hall to increase the parking space, and there was an amendment introduced to increase the amount that we were allowed to spend on that by about $45,000 from $250,000 to just shy of $300,000. I was wondering if you had any background on that. Is that because we negotiated a final price and it was higher than was in the original article?
Now, I'm going to sidestep that
Okay,
because you're a town meeting rep,
yeah,
and I really value the form of government that we have. And I like the fact.
So that's for me to find out and then tell you guys. That's not for Debra to tell us. Okay.
But I like the fact that we're getting ready to have our special town meeting, and we're going to discuss these things. And town meeting reps, that's another. I hate it. I'm going back to the list of names that I hate when I list names, because there's so many brilliant people like my town meeting rep. You know, I always find myself, okay, I'm going downhill now. No, listen, there's so many.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, let me list all the brilliant people. I have a list here of 168 town meeting reps, 5 select board members.
And throw out the scroll.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
So, okay, well, I have no idea when this show will air. It could be today, it could be next week. But I did want to ask you about something that is before the select board, because this evening we have a hearing discussing what to do with this station, what to do with SMAC, what to do about it. And I know there's been a lot of controversy. I received a text message, I think it was yesterday in the afternoon. It was a busy day, so I wasn't able to review all of the materials, because there was a lot of materials that were sent out. But I plan to review them before tonight. But there's an ongoing controversy about SMAC's communications with the select board, what they have given, what they haven't given, and why the things that they have given, they've given sort of under duress and late, and so on. And I'm interested in your perspective on that, because you're one of the people who is sitting on the select board. You're not one of the people that is being sued. So you're as knowledgeable on the one hand and disinterested on the other hand, not in terms of not being interested, but in terms of not having a financial or legal interest in the proceedings. So I'm interested kind of what your perspective has been on what's been going on between the select board and the board of SMAC.
So Noah, as you and others are aware, we're in the midst of litigation, and that's federal court litigation and the public hearing. Both of those are open. So without prejudice, to be fair, I cannot answer that question.
Okay.
All of the information has not been presented at this time, and I would like to make a fully informed decision when the time comes.
Okay.
And I want to be fair. I don't want to be perceived as someone that has come to a resolution, come to a conclusion before hearing all of the information. And I think that develops trust, and that's what I'm trying to relate. I think it is very unfair if I said something without hearing all of the information, because 2 cases, and both cases, because of the suit, I am involved because it's the town, and I represent the town, and I represent all of Stoughton.
Right. And
I want to be fair and equitable and fully informed.
Yeah. So I respect that. I'm more sort of interested on background, because actually I think that's a journalist term that I don't mean. I think in journalism, on background means like a specific thing of like, we're not talking on the record, and obviously you are on TV, it's on the record. So that's not what I mean. I just mean the actual background of what's going on, because I attended the last hearing, and I plan to attend tonight's hearing, and learn as much as I can, and Mr. Winter, the town attorney, has done, I think, a fairly good job of explaining and presenting the town's position. But occasionally there's a detail that it feels, as a person sitting in the room, like maybe the select board was already aware of something that he is referring to, but that isn't in the paper, like for example, okay, Mr. Winter described several things that SMAC was supposed to present to the board, and it included a bunch of financial documents.
Can I just stop you right
Sure.
there, Noah? Because at the conclusion of your sentence,
Yeah.
I will say,
I know.
I want all the citizens to be informed, but I would like them to either visit the town's website, and that's all of the documents that we've had and we're discussing at this point in time, and that is Stoughton.org. Go to the section that says Your Government, go to the Select Board page, and you could go to the town manager's website page, which is, once again, Stoughton.org. Both have listed all of the documents that we're discussing.
Yeah.
And everyone can come to their own conclusion, just as I will come to my independent conclusion of, was there a breach of contract?
Right. Well, was there breach of contract? And if so, how can that be remediated? Right. Because that's the big question everybody cares most about, right?
So
yeah,
I would like to stay focused on that. The public hearing is tonight. Please view or review the documents that are listed. I believe in facts. Facts are friendly, and transparency. So the information that they have is the information that I have seen.
Excellent. Yeah. And,
but there's more to come.
Yeah.
Because tonight is another continuation of the public hearing.
And, if this interview airs tomorrow after the public hearings happened, you can still go and review the documents. You can still go and review the footage of tonight's hearing, because it will be televised. So you can still make your own determination. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to take our word for it. Okay, very good. I had a different question because about the SEOC.
Yes.
Because as a first-time town meeting representative in May, I got to be there when we voted to make the SEOC a permanent town committee, and I'm interested in two things, and I actually want to let's go in chronological order. Tell me about the steps it took to get us just to that vote of the annual town meeting saying, yes, let's make this permanent. How did this process begin? How did it go from somebody's idea to
from concept to reality?
Yeah.
Concept to implementation. Well, I was the chair of the Stoughton SDIO, and Diversity and Inclusion Organization, Stoughton Diversity and Inclusion Organization. And there were a small group of us that started and said, wait a minute, there's a need for equity, diversity, equity, and inclusion. From there, I completed with another small group of people an application, and that working with the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston and MAPC organization. And that is to apply for a grant, and that was called REMAP. Racial Equity Municipal Action Plan grant.
Okay.
And with this application, we had to decide early on, what did we want to accomplish and the timeline. So we knew early on what our end game was.
Yeah.
But we have to socialize the idea over time, not only to inform the public and the select board, but also say there's a need and bring comfort to that need and how we're going to get there.
Yeah.
It's meeting people where they are.
Yeah.
It's not a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, we need it, let's do it tomorrow. No, it's a slow process of implementation, just like any other process should be. So we decided at that time, this needs to be a permanent part of our bylaws, our general bylaws. So with the approval of the select board, we formed the SEOC, Stoughton Equal Opportunity Committee, and we stated that this is our mission, and I presented that, and I got the buy-in from the board, and we are advisors to the select board. Where we see discrepancies or needs improvements or areas of opportunity, then we address them. And it's not just by the voice of one.
Yeah.
Because, I like to watch a lot of movies, right? And one movie, it said, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go with others or as a group. So we got others involved, and that would be the procurement director of the town hall, the HR director of town hall, and others. Those are just to name a few.
Yeah.
And we started with, how the bylaws for hiring practices was archaic. It was hard to read. What does it mean? It skewed the information. Because it was so old and archaic, right? It hadn't been reviewed and updated. So we worked with the HR human resource team to get the bylaws changed to a part that is a win-win for all.
Yeah.
And so that was a good thing. We also have career fairs to let the public know, or those in school know, that there are some valuable professions in the municipal government. But what are they? You just don't necessarily have to be town council or a nurse. There's a town manager position. There's an HR. So we had career fairs. We also have the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King event and the Juneteenth event. And all of these actions, they have one thing in common. That is community engagement. That's bringing people together. We have the fire department representatives there. We have the Veterans Association there at our events, representing, talking about what are the benefits of that department and what is their sole mission. Just on and on. So it's communication. It's getting the community involved. And that goes back to me being a public servant and a connector and a community engagement person. And that's what I feel from that. My purpose is on this earth and in the town of Stoughton.
Tell me a little bit about what happened after the vote, because my understanding was, because we spoke briefly on the phone at some point, and I was asking, okay, what happens next? Did that just, we voted at town meeting, we said, yes, let's do it, and then it's done? And it seems like it wasn't exactly that process, right? The Attorney General's office has to sign off on it. So where are we?
Yeah.
In the since the vote process.
Okay. So that article was twofold. One thing that article was to do was to expand the SEOC committee from a 5-member team to 9. And that meant that the school committee could appoint 4. because we're trying to bring the school side and the municipal side together to work collaboratively so everybody has a voice.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The other thing is for it to be a permanent committee, standing committee within the bylaws. So it gives it some permanency. That's what we were trying to do. After it was approved at town meeting, in these times of distress, contention, after about 2 hours of deliberation, it was approved. And I believe the results were close to or equal to 2/3 vote.
Something like that. I remember that.
It was pretty high.
Yeah.
And that was after a 2-hour deliberation, approximately.
Yeah.
So after it was approved by people town meeting, then it is when it goes. All articles go to the Attorney General office, and what I was told by the clerk's office is the turnaround time is typically 90 days, but sometimes they request more time because of the volume of work that they are dealing with. So it could be 120 days. Now, they are the final step. Could I operate now, talking to the chair of the school committee, and we can start the process? Well, yeah, we could. But guess what? There's no rush in that because we are doing some things outside until we get the final from the AG's office, and like the survey. I hope the residents have seen the survey. There is a U in Stoughton. Is there a U? Hope you saw that survey request, and we have some results, and we're acting on these results. And we still share the information with all. And two of the takeaways, and because there were a lot of takeaways, but two of the takeaways were, one is people enjoy living in the town of Stoughton. They see the benefit of living here, but they can't afford the taxes. The other, the new people were saying, well, we don't understand your town government and we don't know how to get involved. So those were my two takeaways for the survey results. And so now comes the point, how are we going to handle that? What are we going to do about the information, because once you know information, you got to take action on it. Otherwise, what's the point, right?
Yeah. I mean, we don't just let's do a survey. I'm just interested in knowing. That's all. So we have a meeting with our town manager next week to talk about the results and the action steps, because the action steps are very important. And then we'll present to our select board, and we are advisors to the select board, but we like to talk about our findings. And facts are friendly. And our select board is very good. They love data. What does the data show? Yeah.
We got data. This is what the data shows. If it's sufficient data, I don't know if they'll give us feedback, and then we'll just go from there.
Fantastic. Yeah, and the it was. I remember those 2 hours of deliberation.
Oh, do you?
And there's a lot of kind of misunderstanding of what the SCOC is for, and what what diversity, equity, and inclusion means. First of all, this is an advisory board.
Yes.
Right. It's like any of our other advisory boards. It's not as if SCOC is going to walk in and say, no, you can't do that. Right.
That's true. That's a true statement.
It is just helping the town think through its options in a more deliberate, knowledgeable way, so that you're not, making choices that accidentally leave some people out, right? Because, for example, right, if we just look at the racial demographics here,
mm-hmm.
right, Stoughton's about 60% white,
mm-hmm.
Nearly 20% Black or African American, and then several, 2 or more races, other race, Asian. populations are in there, but it's about 60% white, right? If I were to invite 10 people over to dinner, and 4 out of those 10 people were allergic to peanuts, right? If I was like, okay, we're gonna have peanut noodles, that's our dinner, right? Then maybe I'm not doing it deliberately, right? But by not taking into account anyone besides the majority of the 6 people who aren't allergic to peanuts, right? I would still be performing my job as host poorly, right? And so there's, it is useful to have a group of people who are involved in the town government who can point out ways in which, you're feeding people too many peanuts.
Right.
Who can point out ways in which the laws or the regulations or the choices of where to spend our money are harming a minority group within the town. Doesn't matter what the minority group is.
Doesn't matter.
Right? Everyone's in a minority of some kind or another. Right? We have, maybe you're white and Christian, but you're disabled. Maybe you're, white and able-bodied, but you're Jewish, right? And so we all belong to some kind of minority, and it is important to have a committee that looks over some of the choices that the town is making, and that says like, okay, but how about this one? This one over here, is the, if our signage is not friendly to people who have difficulty seeing, then it's not good signage, right?
That's right.
And so on, right? So it's valuable to have, and the town meetings decided, yes, this is valuable to have, and we should make it permanent.
That's right.
And
you're absolutely right.
It's as simple as that. Is like, we do actually want to be neighbors to each other. We do want to like care what's good for each other and not just what's good for us.
That's right.
And diversity, equity, inclusion is just that. It's just that. It's just that.
And another thing that you brought up, our select board is diverse.
Yeah.
By age, race, gender, but is that enough? And that's why we have these other committees, whether it's SCOC, whether it's the planning board, maybe the Cedar. We have other boards and commission to make it a little more diverse so we can hear from a wider perspective of ideas and how to keep Stoughton nostalgic with progressing it forward. So I'm this nostalgic person, and I'm progressive too, I have to say.
Perfect example that comes to my mind is I got involved in the Hanson Schools PTO some years ago, and I go to the meetings, and everybody at the PTO meetings was white, and it's not as if the Hanson School is all white, and it wasn't. I don't think we were being unwelcoming. I don't think it was our fault. But then the pandemic began, and meetings moved to Zoom, and all of a sudden you didn't have to be there in order to be in the meeting. And there was suddenly racial diversity in the Zoom meeting. It was night and day. It was not even close to the same as the demographics had been. And the only change was, are we there at the school in person, or can we join from home or wherever we happen to be at 7:00 at night? And when a change like that happens, you notice and you say, wow. Also, the other important thing is that the number of people coming to the meeting easily doubled.
Mm.
Right? And for a PTO, right, for a parent-teacher organization, you want as much buy-in from parents and families as you could possibly get.
Mm.
Like, there is no such thing as too many people in the PTO. So we had this sudden expansion in the number of people who could be involved and who could ask questions and who could volunteer for stuff. And then the superintendent at the time, it was before Dr. Beit-Aharon joined us, the superintendent at the time said, okay, well, now that the pandemic declaration of emergency is over, we're going to go back to in-person meetings all the time. And I was like, why? This is, we accidentally discovered a really good thing. And now we're just going to say, like, well, we discovered it by accident. Let's pretend it didn't exist. Like, that was such a good thing we had going there. And so it was, I argued against it, and it stayed an in-person thing until Dr. Beit-Aharon joined us and said, yeah, it's fine. You can have some of them be online. And that kind of thing makes a difference. You need people to notice. Like,
that's right.
Something's not right here. What can we do to make it better?
Right.
And then when it accidentally gets better, to notice that and say, let's keep it like this.
Right. I would like to add, it's very important for me to say at this time that I'm the president of the Massachusetts Select Board Association, and I'm also so that's the president, I'm sorry. And then I'm also the chair of the MBTA Advisory Board.
Interesting.
Which is the chair of the operating budget. So we're talking about billions of dollars that I am overseeing and presenting to the board of the MBA based on the group, the advisory group that I sit on, and also the MSA, which is under the umbrella of the Massachusetts Municipal Association. Now, why do I bring this up right now? It's because being part of a larger organization gives Stoughton a voice. And one of the voices and one of the things we addressed was hybrid meetings.
Fantastic.
Voting on that, taking that to the governor and the lieutenant governor to pass so it can be sustainable, that we can do it. Don't take that benefit away, because we know that we have low turnout in our meetings. If it's face-to-face, we know that we're trying to be inclusive in our cities and towns to bring more people on, to recruit more people to fill the vacancies. And we saw that, hey, one thing we can do is have hybrid meetings. Some, Zoom or these virtual meetings. It's a value add, and it's appreciated. Don't take it away. I have that voice, and I will use it.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. And speaking of don't take it away, because you are, your seat on the select board is up for re-election this April, yes?
Yes.
All right.
And I pulled my papers, too.
Okay, excellent. And that's also...
I would appreciate your vote if I can say that online right now.
I think it's allowed.
Okay.
But that's also worth noting that it's papers can be pulled at this point, right?
Yes.
Because I think early October, something like that.
Yes, I pulled my papers and I'm collecting my signatures, and you have to have your nominations, signatures in by December 31st.
Okay.
So I am actively campaigning now, collecting my signatures, and I would like to continue to serve the town of Stoughton.
Thank you very much. Is there a second? Somebody else is also running for re-election, right? There's 2 seats open. Who else is?
The second seat is Lugito, and I don't know if he's running.
Don't know yet.
I just don't. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if somebody wants to get involved on the select board, they can pull papers and start collecting signatures and
or help my campaign.
Yeah.
Well, call me. But anyway, I'm not that forward. I said that sincerely, and humorously because I really enjoy serving the town of Stoughton. We have done a lot of projects and working collaboratively with my board members and the other boards and committees and commissions. I appreciate that. I appreciate it being elected to serve for 2 terms, so I'll be going into my 3rd term because there's still work for me to do. There's still some things that I would like to do, and I would like to more fully utilize my finance background and my humanitarian efforts to continue to maintain our nostalgic atmosphere, like the train depot. It's beautiful. Somebody should take a tour of that. Also, progressing Stoughton.
Yeah.
But affordability is key. Can we afford it? Affordability is key. And where are those finance policies, by the way?
Yeah.
I'm working on them with the finance director and others, especially with the town manager.
Fantastic. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the select board structure because like many town committees, it kind of restructures after each election. And so you are now vice chair. What does the vice chair have like special duties that you need to perform? Like, what does the vice chair do as opposed to the chair, as opposed to a regular member, which you were before?
Okay. According to the charter, the vice chair conducts meetings when the chair is absent. Or
recused or whatever.
Yes. However, I have a great working relationship with our chair and with others on the board. So if I see a need, I just do it. I'm kind of a behind the scenes kind of person. I just do it. Look at the minutes. Look at the financial. Look at the budget. If we need a policy, work on the budget. Try to get others involved to do those type of things. And transparency is so important. Like, can we get those policies up on the website? Because I don't want to be the only one knowing all the information. I'm sure the town manager speaks that same language. So now that's how we have with the public hearing, all of that information. It's all public on the website. The policies are starting to be updated on that website because it's a valuable tool.
Absolutely.
And it goes back to affordability, and the affordability piece is the Stoughton residents are getting a lot for the taxes that they pay.
Absolutely.
All of the services that are provided. I know the first time anything goes wrong, it's, you're calling the fire department, or you're calling the police department, or you're calling the visiting nurse. So, you are using...
We have those things, which not every town around us has in the kind of abundance that we have. Because
that's right.
We've practiced good fiscal management.
That's right.
So, we do get a lot of bang for our buck.
Yes, we do.
So, there's always a balance of trying to figure out how do we not spend as many bucks so that people can afford the taxes, but also how do we make sure that we get all of the benefits that we really do get by paying for things as a collective.
That's right. Absolutely.
Because
you nailed it.
I can't build a school. I need a school for my kids, but if only the people who need a school for their kids and are living in this neighborhood go and build a school together, then it's too expensive for anybody to do.
That's right.
When people gather together, they don't have to go down to the corner store to buy nails. They can buy things in bulk. They can, everything gets cheaper. Everything gets easier. And so, there is a purpose to taxes. It's not right. It's not as if they're just there to drive us out of our homes.
That's right. And, let's be frank. Discussing budget are emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to say this out loud. You think it, yeah, like, oh, I'm feeling some kind of ways every time we talk about a budget. So let's say it out loud. Discussing budgets are emotional.
Because budgets are your priority.
That's right. It is. And when so affordability is one. And that is tied directly with the budget. But the sub-bullet of that is communication. Yeah. So when you're communicating your projects or that budget, you have to be concise, comprehensive, and meet people where they are in the way you communicate it. So it goes back to, is everything, all of the information you need, public so we can view it and we basically have the same understanding? So meet people where they are.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, and thank you for meeting us where we are.
Thank you so very much.
I will happily talk
I appreciate it.